Hi, this is Tony Capreyos from Accent Financial Group. Thanks so much for joining us today. In today's video, we are going to discuss about inflation and how inflation could potentially change the way you invest your investment portfolio. Stay tuned and thanks again for joining. In 2021, inflation has become a pretty big topic. As you may or may not read in the financial news as of late, inflation has been creeping up above historical norms. As of the latest data, inflation year over year is up over 5%. And in some areas, like real estate or food prices or gas prices or some other areas such as that, inflation is up much more than 5%. Now there's a lot of discussion about if inflation will be what they call transitory, which is another word for temporary, or if it will be more sticky, which is another word for with us for the long term. While it's hard to know exactly what's going to happen, it does seem that it's going to be a little bit more than transitory. Now, the United States in the past few decades hasn't had to worry that much about high inflation. Inflation has been at a relatively modest level for quite a while. In environments that you might call higher inflationary environments, such as what we could be in today and might be in for the foreseeable future, this could change the way you look at your investment portfolio and the way you look at your asset allocation. It's important in a higher inflationary environment to invest your portfolio in a certain manner so that your after-tax and after-inflation returns are still positive. What do I mean by that? What I'm trying to say is, if you're investing, say, in a treasury bill that is paying 1.5%, but inflation is 5%, you're essentially losing after inflation 3.5% per year on your purchasing power. That's probably not exactly your goal when you look at your investment portfolio. But a lot of times people forget to not just look at their number of their return, if it's 5%, 10%, 15%, or 20% in a year, but how does that number look in compared to the prices around you and the inflation environment? Because all we care about is growing our money after taxes and after inflation. Looking at it before those two things is almost meaningless. Now, in a moderate to higher inflationary environment, there's typically some assets that are better to have in your portfolio than others. A lot of times, real assets are very important. Real assets are things that will grow with inflation and potentially hedge inflation as it increases. It could be real estate, it could be the equity markets, it could be commodities, it could be other areas that are historically inflation hedges or do well in rise in inflation environments. Another way to look at your portfolio in moderate to higher inflationary environments is you have to, in my opinion, go after a little bit higher returns. Because if you're going at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of risk reward, maybe treasury bills, short-term bonds, etc. In this environment, you're not making much. You're maybe making 1%, 2%, 3%. But as I said, if inflation is 5% or more, you're essentially losing money on those investments. So sometimes we like to structure our portfolios in a higher inflationary environment to go after higher returns so that we can potentially keep our money growing beyond taxes and beyond inflation. In 2021, where we are today, it seems as though inflation is rising and potentially taxes could also be rising with it. That type of environment makes it a little bit difficult as an investor, and it should change your mindset slightly to look at things a little bit different, because if taxes are rising and inflation is rising, you have to adjust your portfolio to make sure that you're going to be able to take home some money after those two things. So I just wanted to give a little insight there, and please feel free to reach out if you want to find out how we are looking at this environment and how we're looking to get ahead of potentially a rising inflation environment, and as I just mentioned, potentially a rising tax environment. Thanks so much for joining us today, and please stay tuned for our next video. Take care.